3, 2, 1, go!
Hey guys, Lucky13 here. Today, I'm kind of skeptical about making this video because I've seen a lot of pros and cons about the Battlefield 5 community. I guess you would say that there's been a lot of positives and negatives that's been floating around the interwebs here in the last few months. Skepticism about how the game's going to come out and what everybody wants to see out of it. Well, today we're going to be talking about some things that I'd like to see come out of this game. And for one, as long as it's not futuristic, this is my main pet peeve. As long as it's not futuristic, I'll be okay. Alright, so today we're going to look at see what I and others mutually agree on, would like to see in Battlefield 5 and what needs to be left aside. So a large mutual agreement has been made that we don't want to see any futuristic ideas to be brought in Battlefield 5, like I just stated previously. This being said, there are enough games as such to keep one busy while the rest of the world, enjoys Battlefield 5 for what it's going to be in all its glory. Some people want to see more realistic damage being done when you exit a vehicle, for instance, and I think that's a really cool idea because if you go to roll out of a vehicle, you're definitely going to take some damage, and it's definitely going to hurt a little bit. I know that everything besides hardcore, you recuperate a little bit of life, and you can recuperate life or health from a med kit, which is, brought to you by an assault pack carrier or whoever has the first aid. So it'll help you out there. So I mean, I think if you're going a little too fast in a vehicle, I don't think they should really break down that they should have like a speedometer or anything. But realistically, if you were to bail from a vehicle that's going over 25 miles an hour, you're going to take some damage. Even so, I mean, you could still take damage that's from a vehicle going less speed. So I mean, that's just something to keep in mind. Realistic is realistic. So we're focusing on real-time war battle game, FPS, people with guns shooting each other. Why not think about people as bailing out of vehicles? And what's this, maybe deploying a parachute multiple times within a single game? Now, stop and think about it if you would. I know it's not super realistic, but how many times can you deploy the same parachute? How many parachutes are you going to be carrying on you? Okay, so I'm thinking one parachute. Alright, so maybe you have a delay or some kind of setback to how many times you can use your parachute or how often you can use it. So I mean, that's something to think about possibly. Like you go to rip your cord out and the parachute not ready, and you're like, oh shit, you're in midair, and well, sorry buddy, it's either commit suicide or you're going to take an ankle breaker, so whatever it is. Others think that the class system should be a little more complex and not overlap as they do in Battlefield 4. I can see this would be something nice to touch on, but I wouldn't go into a lot of depth with it. As you know, like a medic assault medic can carry I guess you would say a grenade launcher of sorts. I'm not really sure what the size of the millimeter of the actual grenade is, but they carry a grenade launcher in a sense. And an engineer, of course, like gameplay here shows a rocket launcher. It's RPG. So I mean, basically, it's why would a medic need a grenade launcher? Just out of curiosity. I don't maybe give them a different perk or an extra addition perk, like aside from carrying a med pack or something. I'm not really sure. I can't really go into detail on it because I don't have enough information regarding what could possibly be changed. This is something for you guys to think about, and I know the game's probably close to being wrapped up, and it's probably in alpha stage right now, where people are testing this game. I'm just stepping on this. I'm not really saying that it is done. I'm not saying that we're going to be seeing some beta anytime soon, but I've heard that it's going to be releasing sometime between middle of summer to sometime in the fall of 2016 this year. So I'm really looking forward to some alpha beta game footage, and I'm really seeing what we can get our claws dug into when this is ready to be presented to us. I also heard there's going to be a small leak possibly at E3 this year, so I'm also looking forward to that. Let's see. Also, I've read we have too many used use less gadgets. How can I put this into better words? It's too many gadgets that we don't use as much as we should. There we go. And possibly that we should have them somehow combined into a similar version of that gadget. I guess you would say like the Sniper Recon's MAV and the little targeting grenade. You know, it shows you, or the little thing that folds out. I don't know what the name of it is. I never use it. The only thing I use is the SOFLAM and the C4. So if you ever see a guy running around with, you know, night vision goggles and a C4, that's probably me. But aside from that, basically, I mean, take some, you know, I don't know if you can keep a record if they have statistics on basically what items are being used the most, but if there's a way to maybe see how or get a poll of what gadgets are mainly used and what you know gadgets aren't used as much, maybe find some gadgets to somehow to maneuver or manipulate them, the abilities of those gadgets into another gadget that's used more often. That's just something I would think is be pretty cool to see personally. So I don't know, it's just something food for thought, I guess. If you were thinking of somehow making a different change in the game, of course. Of course, we do want to stay away from Star Wars, fantasy type of stuff. This is, you know, war. This isn't like ruling the galaxies and the whole universe. We don't have spaceships we fly around on. We have helicopters and F-16s. So think about that, or F-18s. I can't remember. I'm not a jet man. I'm sorry. I don't keep up with airplanes. You know, it just sounds really cool when you say it, and you think you're all, you know, talking sophistication and stuff like that. Shotgun to the face. Right on. So, side note. Let's see. So, I've also seen a lot of people saying that they want to see less guns. I'm sitting here thinking, why do you want less guns in a gun-oriented game? I mean, come on. In fact, I would like to see some more of the newer prototype weapons that are being developed, you know, possibly leaked into the game, and that'd be cool. For instance, the Vector. The Vector doesn't, you know, I haven't seen anything mimicking that in this game. It's a pistol type of semi-automatic assault. Well, not really assault. It's a submachine gun sort of, you know, of sorts. So I mean, but it's basically wrapped around a pistol. If you look at the core of the weapon itself, it's actually a pistol, which is pretty cool. And the corner pistol, or whatever you call it, I guess it's called the corner pistol, it has an extension where you can actually shoot the pistol around a corner and fire it from a safe, you know, area. So that way you're not actually in harm's way, but you can still see where the pistol's aiming at. That's just something to think about. It's really out there. It's in the world. People, I don't think a lot of people would probably have it or use it, but I mean, it's just something to think about because it's actually real. You know, just like the Desert Eagle, the 50 cal Desert Eagle. Wow, you know, that's stopping power. I take down an elephant, you know, but it's just, you know, just something to say on. So I don't agree with actually taking out guns. These guns are in this game for a reason. Maybe make some modifications to the attachment, like the forward grip and the stubby grip and the peta grip. A lot of these grips actually don't make any kind of difference on the weapon itself. I'm not sure, maybe if you get 10 kills and you get a grip, or you unlock a battle pack and get a grip. I haven't really paid much attention. I just kind of acquire them and I use them, and I've noticed that, you know, oh wow, these two grips here are exactly the same, except they just look different. So I mean, maybe make one more versatile, maybe bring up the weapon faster or something, you know, just something to maybe mix it up a little bit. That'd be something interesting, like Quick Draw or something. Not necessarily Quick Draw from Call of Duty. I'm not a Call of Duty fanboy. On the other hand, I'm not a Battlefield fanboy either. I just like Battlefield's map size because it has more versatility. From the Call of Duty standpoint, you have the same map, and it's basically, no matter what game type you're playing, it's the same map. Whereas Battlefield, if you're playing Capture the Flag, it may be a different area of the map, but you know, when you're playing Conquest, you have this full-sized map. Also, something I like to see in Battlefield, I know they do have hardcore, and I know they do have infantry only, but they do not have hardcore infantry only. Aside from that, like maybe selecting what type of vehicles that you can use in a game, you know, multiplayer game. Maybe like land vehicles only, or helicopters, or air support, you know, just mix it up a little bit. Give us something to Not like here's all the vehicles in the game. Take it and have fun. Okay, well that kinda is okay, but in some scenarios, like if you, I mean, I don't know, I can't really give us a scenario based on a tank wouldn't be any good maybe in the snow, in a snow biome. I'm not saying that they don't have tanks in the snow biome, but they probably have special tracks or something that they use, you know, for a tank. Whereas a helicopter, if a windstorm comes, you can't use a helicopter in real life, so, I mean, you have no visibility, and maybe the blades on the chopper will get froze up. So, I mean, it's just something to think about. If you want to get realistic with the game, you're doing pretty good with the hand-to-hand combat and the foot, I guess on foot, what was I saying a while ago? The way you can, it's just like infantry only, okay? So you're doing pretty good from the infantry only standpoint, but it's just like when there's helicopters and tanks and Humvee, well, not Humvees, there's no Humvees in the game. That'd be cool if there was, for faster mobility like there is a Doom buggies. But for instance, when you're firing at these vehicles, they're going way too fast. Most of the time you have to have some sort of RPG that can lock onto a vehicle or air support or whatever to take it out. So I mean, you're kind of outnumbered and outmanned. Every once in a while you see these really hot top shot guys can headshot the driver and takes down the whole vehicle or what have you. But I mean, it just seems like it's a little OP. So maybe thinking about some hardcore infantry only maps. So normal maps that you would usually see vehicles on, possibly eliminate the vehicles just to have like an infantry only attack, or maybe one side gets, you know, a tank and the other side gets a helicopter. Mix it up a little bit. I mean, it's just something to think about. I don't know how you would go about doing this. I don't know how many people agree with me. I don't know how many people disagree with me. This is just my opinion, and everybody has one. They all smell like shit, but they're, you know, all assholes, whatever. I don't know, I forgot how that saying goes. But anyway, on a side note, I would like to see some items change, maybe, or class specific only. For instance, the NVIR, Night Vision Infrared, and the FLIR, Forward Looking Infrared. These two are the most widespread used optics, I think, in the game, personally speaking. And you have some ways to combat them, but not everybody wants to carry around a flare, a smoke for smoke screen, and let's see what else. There's a couple extra things you can carry around to combat these, but not everybody wants to carry that. And I mean, it's just kind of a hassle because you can get it at any time. Okay, so what I'm thinking is maybe perhaps either have a helmet that would replace the NVIG or the FLIR, and you could possibly change that out on whatever class specific that you can have it on, or possibly have like a top class specification for the weapon. So you have to master press that weapon, kind of like how you have to get the 150 kills, 300 kills, whatever, to get the, you know, next attachment or whatever. So make this like the last attachment that you would get, or close to the last, you know, up there in the top tiers, and you have to select from, say, 3 attachments or 2 attachments that you can actually possibly have on a weapon because of maybe a weight issue or something. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a weight issue. And I don't say this game would encourage campers, because to me it doesn't really encourage campers. It encourages strategic maneuvers. Okay, so like for instance, right there where that guy was bringing that guy back to life or whatever, he was strategically placing himself there to bring him back to life. His life depended on the other guy. So I mean, you know, it's not like people are just going to sit behind a corner and wait for 30 people to run by and shoot them off. Battlefield's not really like that. I don't care who you are or why you think that would be encouraged from heavier weapons. Perhaps give it an upstand. If a weapon was to have weight and it's make you move slower, perhaps you could have more armor, which means you could take more damage, for instance, or something. And I just shot that dude in the head. I hope he's alright. I think he comes back to life. Somebody brings him back to life, I believe. But anyway, yeah, there he is. He's back to life. Good old Joe. Anyway, I'm thinking like maybe a class specific where only a certain type of people would have the FLIR, or, you know, like I said, the weapon would be like some kind of prestige to get it, or you got to do a special mission. That would be interesting, like maybe a night ops mission to where you would receive the scope. So I mean, it's fairly received, with fairly work. So I mean, you know, you do a night ops mission for the scope, you get the scope, great, you passed it, good. You failed it, sorry. It's available again in X number of days or X number of hours, and I think that'd be something really cool too. You can do missions to receive really cool attachments, but you only get to unlock them every so many days or hours or something, if you fail it, so you get to go back and redo it. Just like in real, you know, militaries, because if you don't, like for instance in the Army, if you try to go a Ranger and you fail, you have to wait an X number of, you know, like, I think months, a couple of months, and then to retry it. So I mean, why not put a limitation on the items that you are going in for to get that kind of stuff? Let's see. Also, recon and maybe other both, or only. Let's see. I don't know where I'm at here. I know a lot of people will argue with me about it. Okay, of course, we've already talked about that. And but it seems like they put this attachment in every single weapon. They seem a little OP to me, and they are combated like I was talking about with lasers and smoke and such. But in conclusion, I think people like the size of the current maps. These are good. Maybe even make them larger. That's fine. I, for one, am happy to see that the maps have been have not been hindered in any way to make, you know, for the enjoyable gameplay of the larger maps. I, for one, would like to see some alterations, maybe like zoned areas, like in Team Deathmatch, where you're always in the same spot, but maybe like in a new Battlefield version, it moves around the map. That way, you're not in the same place every time. That's just something to think about, guys. So, if you have any ideas or any comments that you want to throw at me, go ahead and put in the, you know, down below the video here. If you like this video, go ahead, please give it a thumbs up. Let's see how many thumbs up we can get on this, and how many likes we can get. I want to try to push this towards the developers, and also I'll take your comments to the developers if they somehow come across this. I'm not going to send it to them, but if you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be trying to push this stuff out as often as possible. Try to keep you up to date with Battlefield 5 and any kind of new news that comes along. All right, guys.
Game on.